Guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video, guys. From the title you can see that I'll be speaking about the struggles and fear of women in 2021. Now, I had my video scheduled for today, but with all that happened last week and what has been happening over time, I was moved to speak on this topic. As a woman in today's society, we already have different struggles to go through, from professionally within the workplace where a glass ceiling is placed over females in terms of how far you can go or trying to compete with a male. We also have other issues of gender-based violence against women. It's become a thing these days where women are continuously faced with emotional, sexual, physical, mental, and psychological abuse. As women, it has become a case where it seems that saying no, resisting advances, not being interested is a cause for us to be fearful for our own lives. Now, of recent times, there have been two cases in Jamaica that stands out to me. Two of the most recent. There have been a lot, but too many. The last two that I can think of, I won't call their names, but were two young ladies. One that was leaving university one night, going home, never to be seen again, and another who was on her way to work and just never made it to work, only to be found 2 days later having been strangled and raped. Now, every day in the world someone is raped, and the questions that are asked are always, why was she walking on that road alone? Why was she dressed like that? Why did she go into that vehicle? Didn't she know that that wasn't a taxi? Why was she out so late? And in the case of relationship or domestic abuses, then you'll hear, why was she dating that guy? Why did she stay in that relationship? Didn't she know that he was like that? Why didn't she speak to anybody? The pressure is always placed on the female for what has happened. And sometimes you're targeted as a female for just merely existing. Gender-based violence is on a rise because women nowadays, not just in Jamaica but across the world, are targeted by men, and surprisingly targeted by females as well, because sometimes you'd be so surprised to know that there are women out there who are conspiring with men to bring harm to our women and girls. We currently live in a world where we have to be teaching our daughters to walk briskly, be very cautious of your surroundings, check your shoulder, lock the car door when you enter, ensure your doors are locked when you are at a stoplight, be observant of people walking around you, don't walk too close to groups of men, keep aware, keep your purse close to you. There is so much that you have to keep in mind when you leave your house on a daily basis. It's a lot. It's just a whole lot. It's as though violence against women is seen as inevitable. And I really don't think as women we need to be living in fear 24/7, constantly walking, playing situations in our head, and just constantly being prepared or trying to be prepared for things to happen. It doesn't need to be inevitable. No woman needs to constantly be worried about what will happen if they leave a relationship. They need to be worried about what will happen if they get married. They need to be worried about what will happen if they get a job. They need to be worried about what will happen if they get married. They need to be worried about what will happen if they leave a relationship. They need to be worried about what will happen if they leave a relationship. What will happen if they get married? because they have been threatened by their partner. Whether they'll take their lives, whether they'll harm their family, whether they'll harm their children. No one needs to sit in an unhappy relationship that is mentally, emotionally draining, toxic to your soul, just because the men feel as though you are properties, and you can't end a relationship unless it is they are ready for it to end, or they think, you know, it's time to move on from you. When did it become a case where women became properties that they cannot leave a relationship unless the man wants it to end? Over the last few years, there have been so many cases of women being killed by their lovers or partners, and it's so strange that it's not even that they're being killed in their homes. They've been going in their workplaces, in their places of interest. It's as though there's nowhere that is safe for you to be as a woman sometimes. It continues to puzzle me as to why would you want to force a woman to have sex with you? Why would you want to force a woman to stay in a relationship that is unhappy, unwanted, undesired? The power that you get from this kind of relationship is temporary, right? You force the female into a relationship today, continue to force her in it till you get to a point where you kill her. She no longer exists. What was it all for? So that you can spend the rest of your life in prison? I heard something today that said every woman knows of at least one female who has experienced sexual harassment or some form of violence against them. Yet there are so many men who say they do not know anyone who has done such a thing, who does domestic violence, and they themselves have never done. But there are people out there who know that their family or friends are abusive. When your friends, men, when your friends come to you bragging about how they treat their women in certain ways, have a one reason with them, no? Sometimes when they voice those things and you support the behavior, you don't know what kind of harm you're causing to a female, because you are boosting that behavior and that man feels as though what he's doing is right. We condone these things sometimes, that we contribute to a lot of things that could have been avoided. As a friend, as a family member, stop hyping up the behavior. Stop helping them to cover it up. Stop boosting their ego. You'd be surprised the difference you make from simply not endorsing or listening to certain things that help to give them power. Society has a see and blind culture that we need to let go of. You know, sometimes we'd be surprised how many lives we can save, how many women we can help out of certain situations if we just let go of the see and blind mentality. Sometimes you just need to call out that friend who is being abusive to their spouse. Think about it this way. That spouse could be your mother, could be a sister, could be a daughter, could be a friend. And I'm sure no one wants to see their family member go through abuse in any form of way. There's also a saying that not all men are quote unquote, but at the end of the day, we're all accountable. We all sometimes see things that we ignore that can make a positive change in somebody's life. We shouldn't have to be constantly fighting to protect our women. We can create a world in which our women don't need to be protected. There are so many women who have a story, a close attempt, an escape, a near death that they are afraid to share or they have shared. Yet there are so many who have not been afforded the opportunity to share their stories, because in the midst of all that has been happening or what has happened to them, they have also lost their lives. They were robbed of what their life could possibly be. Fear is something as women we have grown to know very well. We have been taught that our well-being and our safety is at risk, just merely from just being a woman. And this leads me to ask, when will it be enough? How many women, how many girls have to lose their lives? How many women, how many girls have to be abused for us to say it is enough? How many of our women have to live with the fear of being preyed on from just, being in your own surroundings, your house, outside your house, your school, your workplace, your church, your places of interest, just merely going outside is a fear. How many have to die? As a people, we continue to fail our women and girls by living in silence, by not speaking out on things we know, not speaking to persons about their behavior that we are aware of. Let's focus on our prevention. No, let's focus on prevention. Let's focus on putting measures in place. Let's focus on speaking out and allowing our women and girls a chance at life. A chance at a world in which we can exist without fear. I remember the first time I heard about, the first time someone close to me got raped and killed. I was in grade 4. And at grade 4, I would have been about 10. And I remember this Friday evening, we would have had a physical education class. And I remember me and my friend, a group of us were playing. And this young lady, she was also one of them that was playing with us. And that Friday evening, and I remember going, I think it was when I went back to school, I heard the Monday morning that she went to the market with her mother, because her mother sold in a market, and someone bought something from her mother and the person didn't have any change. The mother didn't have any change either. So the mother sent her with the gentleman to go get the payment for the goods. Apparently the man placed a headphone in her ears and took her away, raped her. And a 10-year-old to hear that her classmate was taken away and raped. That's like the first time I was exposed to hearing of those things. And from then to now, it has been a continuous thing that you hear it happening around you. It might not be a case where I've had anybody close happening, but close enough. Because when you look at a 20-year-old leaving university, working her first job, leaving her house to go to work and not coming back home. At 20, I am busy planning my life. At 20, I was probably still in university, but at 20, you're making plans for your future, making plans for your life, only for it to be snatched away by somebody that you might have been familiar with. I don't know the details of the story, but it might have been somebody she's familiar with, somebody from her community that she has seen before, maybe a taxi that she regularly took, but whatever the case is, at 20 you're making plans for a future, a plan for your life, not a plan to be strangled and raped and killed. Let's stop violence against women. There is enough in our lives in general that is mentally and emotionally straining. Let's try to at least remove these unnecessary behaviors, unnecessary violence against women, Allow our women to make choices. No is no. We always say there's a lot of fishes in the sea. There are a lot of fishes in the sea. If you like Jane and Jane is not interested, let Jane be. If Jane wants, you're in a relationship with Jane and Jane wants to end that relationship, let it be. There's no need for you to be taking somebody's life because you think you're in love, because that's not love. You feeling to take somebody's life because you're in love, that's not love at all. So guys, this is where I'll be ending this video for today. This video was an avenue for me to voice how I've been feeling about all that has been happening, and it was mostly triggered by the last incident that happened last week. There are things that I might have said in this video that you agree with, and there's also things in the video that you might not agree with. But let's continue the conversation in the comment section. Let's talk. So guys, this is where I'll be ending this week's video. And of course, I'll still end the video by saying, guys, continue to be your most authentic self. And of course, guys, continue to stay naturally.
Walk out your majesty.